Hello and welcome back to Bike Matters. My name is Brett and today we have another Maxi scooter in the Bike Matters studio. It is the Suzuki Burgman 400. Interestingly enough, the Burgman has been about since 1998, which is quite a while ago because even I was a youngster back then. But today we have the Euro 5 version for a full review. Now before I get cracking with that review, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you've got any thoughts or comments about the Suzuki Burgman, are you a fan, do you not like it? Let us know in the comments section. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit subscribe. Let's get on with that review, shall we? When it comes to the looks and styling of the Suzuki Burgman 400, in my opinion, it looks, well, just like a Suzuki Burgman. For 2021, it has had a slight update. It's a little bit sportier, a little bit sharper, especially when you look at the front here with the air intakes, the sharp lines off the indicators, and we do have the addition of some LED lighting. This version here today has the extra long windscreen, along as a few other bits such as the knuckle protectors as well. Now there's three colorway options, there's silver, grey or black, which in my opinion are quite kind of serious professional colorways. It would have been so awesome to kind of have a matte or satin kind of red or blue, just to really make this thing pop even more. But we do have additions such as the blue alloy wheels down there, which do give it quite a cool look. Now, whereas many of the competitors of the Burgman 400 have gone to kind of crossover adventure looks or even sporty maxi looks, Suzuki have kept the Burgman just like a traditional maxi scooter. Now powering the Suzuki Burgman 400, as you might have guessed, is a 400cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine which is double overhead cam and 4 valves. And it puts out 28 brake horsepower at 6,300 RPM and 35.2 Newton meters of torque at 4,900 RPM. Now how does that engine actually perform on the road? Well, up to kind of 50-60 miles an hour, it does quite well indeed, but it does kind of struggle 60 to 80 miles an hour, and you can feel it, the engine gets a little bit noisy and it doesn't quite like it as much, and it's a bit more of a gradual accelerator. But it can still handle A-roads and motorways absolutely fine. But with an engine, it isn't always about the performance stats, and I'll talk more about why later on. Let's move on to the chassis and weight. Now it does have a steel tubular frame on this, and the whole scooter itself, it is quite sizable, as you can see, is 218 kilograms. So not only is it quite big in size, it is quite heavy too. Now manual handling wise, when you grab onto the handlebars, the grab rail is actually quite far away. So we have struggled to move this in the kind of traditional way of sidestepping. But if you have both hands on the handlebars, it does make life a lot easier because it is heavy and it is long. But when you go out on the road, it's that traditional thing of it doesn't feel heavy at all. It feels quite nimble, quite agile. Yes, 218 kilograms and manual handling wise, you do notice it, but out on the road, you really don't. Let's move on to wheel size next. And at the front here, we have a 15-inch wheel, and to the rear, we have a 13-inch wheel, and we run Dunlop Scoot Smart tyres. Now when it goes on to braking, we have twin 260mm braking discs with 2 piston calipers. And onto the back of the scooter, we have a 210mm braking disc, again with a 2 piston caliper. But how does it actually perform braking wise on the road? Well, when you start to put in those levers, the braking is quite subtle. It does the job, but it's not overly forceful. But as soon as you kind of get that lever halfway back, that's when it gets to the business end of the braking. You nice and forcefully pull those brake levers in, and it's really good, adequate braking, not a problem. Now when it comes to suspension, we have 41mm telescopic forks at the front, and hidden away towards that swing arm is a monoshock. But how does it actually perform out on the roads? Well, just like the braking really, it does more than an adequate job. It does do rather well indeed. It's not crazy good, but it's just kind of Goldilocks for me. It ticks a lot of boxes, and it's a very typical kind of maxi scooter setup. It's not too soft, it's not too firm, and it handles every road just as most people would want it to. Nice, comfortable, yet nimble and agile too. So all in all, braking, suspension, it's all pretty good. Now when it comes to the fuel tank, it's housed in this tunnel here, and it holds 13.5 litres of petrol, which I think is pretty good going. Now when we spoke about the engine earlier, we said there's more than just horsepower, and that is true, because the engine on this is very frugal indeed. And I think you'll easily get between 65 and 70 miles per gallon, which if you use every drop of that fuel tank, you should get in the region of 200 miles on an entire tank. Now, if you don't already know, we here at BikeMatters are powered by Lexham Insurance, who are moped, scooter and motorcycle insurance specialists in the UK. But not just do they make it possible for us to put out this kind of content, but they give our viewers in the UK a really cool deal as well. Click the link in the top right hand corner now, that'll take you through to Lexham Insurance quotation form, and when you complete a quotation, you'll automatically deduct up to £20 off your insurance premium just because you're a BikeMatters viewer. Now that isn't too bad, is it? Now, one thing I truly love about the Suzuki Burgman is this seat. Not only is it very, very comfortable, probably one of the most comfortable I've been on in recent times. This little backrest is adjustable, by the way. It is also extremely accessible. Now, Maxi scooters as a whole have seat heights around 800mm, which isn't that bad, but the seats are quite wide and means shorter riders such as myself, 5'6", our legs are sprayed out and you're kind of tippy toes with the scooter. This though is 755mm, which means even my little diddy legs can get down very, very easily. So if you're a shorter rider, this might well interest you. But again, that doesn't mean it's going to be bad for taller riders, because there looks to be absolutely acres of leg room. Now, under this very comfy seat is quite a decent amount of storage space, 42 litres in fact. So you can get one full face helmet and then an open face helmet behind it, which is pretty good going. Yes, we'd all love it to fit 2 full face helmets, but having this as standard is pretty good going. But that is not all for storage, because we have 2 glove boxes on the back of the leg shield. We have this one here on the right, which is 3.5 litres in capacity and has a 12-volt charging port. Then the one on the left is 2.8 litres in capacity. So as standard storage options go, the Burgman is doing rather well. Now the switchgear on the Burgman 400, yeah, it looks a bit basic and there's not a lot going on, but it still does the job quite well indeed. And it doesn't feel flimsy, it feels nice, solid and quality to the touch. So all in all, I've been quite pleased about that. And when we move on to the dash, yes, some of its rivals will have kind of full digital displays or even negative LCD displays. The Burgman doesn't, it's split. It's got a nice small little digital panel in the middle, and either side are those analog clocks. It's not going to be for everyone, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that kind of like that old school look. When it comes to technology on the Suzuki Burgman 400, there's a basic level, but it's not crazily packed full of tech. We've got the 12-volt charging port in the glove box, we've got the immobiliser, we've got the easy start system, and we've got traction control. Then there's a few optional extras like we have on this version here. We've got the longer windscreen, we've got the knuckle protectors, and we've got the heated grips. But when you start to look at some of the competitors, they have a few more bells and whistles, such as a digital dash, smart key, app integration, and cruise control. So there's a few things here that hopefully we see the Burgman have in the future. So how much does the Suzuki Burgman 400 cost? Well, it is quite a premium maxi scooter. It's £6,999. And if you want some of these optional extras, so if you go for the longer windscreen, the knuckle protectors and the heated grips, it brings the grand total for this bike here today at £7,747 of your English pounds. When it comes to rivals for the Suzuki Burgman 400, especially Japanese rivals, you can see there's one or two aspects of the Burgman which I think could be updated. Yes, it has a 400cc engine, but its rivals such as the 330cc or 300cc versions from Japan actually put out very similar brake horsepower, while those scooters are actually lighter. So for me, it'd be great to get a few more ponies out of the Burgman's 400 and make the scooter just a little bit lighter. I think in regards to styling, it still looks great, but some of the others with its kind of adventure crossover looks or sporty natures, the Burgman still looks quite a professional looking machine. So a few more tweaks to make it look even more aggressive I think would be pretty awesome. And then a couple of extra features, maybe a full digital dash and smart key, will bring it up even more. But in my opinion, Suzuki have kept this to what has been a winning formula for the Burgman. And let's face it, it's been a winning formula for quite some time now. There's a lot of people who are loyal Burgman owners and would think of owning nothing else. So they probably want to try and keep it to that tried and tested formula like I've mentioned the whole way through this video. Yes, it hasn't had a lot of upgrades. There's some aspects that are dated, but that doesn't mean it doesn't do a good, solid job. And there's going to be many people out there which would love owning one of these scooters. So what are my final thoughts on the Suzuki Burgman 400? Well, yes, admittedly, there's some aspects that I feel should be updated further. Maybe a full digital dash, smart key, a few more ponies from that 400cc engine. That's just me being critical, because there's many owners of Burgman 400s out there that love it for what it has to offer. And that's why I think the Burgman, it might not excel in any one thing, but it does a good job all around. And that's why it appeals to so many people. It's solid, it's dependable, it's extremely comfortable while being frugal. So yeah, it might not be crazy good in one thing, but overall it's a very Goldilocks kind of feeling and offering with the Suzuki Burgman. So there you go, that is my full review on the Suzuki Burgman 400 Maxi scooter. Are you a fan of this scooter? What do you think? Please do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed my full review on this, please hit that like button. We really do appreciate it here at BikeMatters. If you're not already subscribed to the channel and you do like this type of content, hit that subscribe button and ding the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.